Alright, it's been way too long since I've messed with this. I'm sure some of you saw the previous video or you got it up and running and all of that, but I got really busy, ended up on a lift, and had to play musical cars yesterday to finally get this back up on the dyno. It's running good. Playing musical cars, found that the startup and the idle needs a little work, so I'll tinker with that now. I'm going to set the timing, and we should be about ready to start trying to make some power. So it requires a little throttle to start it, which means we need some more airflow, but I'm maxed out on airflow in the ECU, so we're going to need to make a throttle body adjustment. That's better. Fuel looks good, closed loop's turned off. We need to let it warm up, and so far so good. So basically the timing's locked at 20 degrees right now. I'm sure you can't see it, but basically yeah, we're at 20 on the ECU, 20 in the timing light. They match up, so we're good to go on the timing. Alright, so far it's actually running really good, responding pretty well. I raised all of the idle stuff up before I mechanically raised it at the throttle body, so now all that stuff's too high, so I gotta go back and lower all that back down, and kind of build the base map a little better than I currently just kind of did some idle stuff to get it up and running. So I'm going to do all that, and then we'll probably start being able to roll it on the dyno. So the reason none of my idle control startup settings were working, and it was starting like trash, is because the idle control valve just doesn't work. So I'll spend a few minutes fooling with that, and if it's going to be something that's not quick and easy, then we might just have to come back to that at a later date. Alright, so it is confirmed not working, so I don't know if it's the valve or the wiring. Guess I can use the test light checkout real quick. I already knew it wasn't pulsing, but it's not pulsing. Let's see if we got 12 volts going to it. So I have power to it, just the output side isn't working, so we'll check into that real quick. ECU's under the seat, so I just wanted to verify some wiring. I've had some issues with these harnesses in the past, but got a noid light on it. Change some numbers around. Looks like we've got the idle working. Let's plug it all back up and see if it actually works for real now. A couple manuals were left in the car. Not sure which one I should use. Close. I'll mess with it a little bit more, but once you actually get the idle control valve working, the idle control is not too bad on these things. Okay, seems to be running pretty good now. Two problems I'm facing is if you bring the idle stop screw low enough that it idles at RPM I'm happy with, there's not enough tension on it. It's just got a spring and then it backs itself out. So you might have to do like a stop nut or whatever you want to call it on there for that. And then the other issue is that the ECU, this car must just have a bunch of noise in it or something, because the ECU will only stay connected to the laptop for 30 seconds at a time, which for like the steady state and hard throttle stuff is going to be a pain in the ass. The full throttle stuff isn't too big of a deal. I usually don't use the learn function on the ECU, but given that the computer doesn't want to stay connected, I might actually try and play with that a little bit. The learn thing works pretty good in my opinion once you get everything really close, and then you can let it learn and do some small corrections and stuff. But when guys fire these things up and just think that the learn is going to control everything and get you into the ballpark, I've found that you just run around in circles with it. I'm not a big fan of doing it that way, but I'll try it. If it seems like it's going to suck, then I'll turn that shit back off. But for now, let's see if it does anything. Alright, so yeah, I stick to my original statement that I'm not a big fan of the learn feature, so I just disabled it, and I'm just going to have to like basically resync the ECU with the laptop like every 30 seconds. So it's going to be annoying, but I'd rather be able to do it correctly or the way I prefer to do it than having that learn thing just jump all around and do whatever it wants. Basically within a couple of percent. Actually sounded like it was hitting a limiter or something. So let me investigate that now. about ready to start making some baby runs. Banged my head on the cage about 6 times now. I made first little baby pass to 4,000 something RPM. I have a feeling this thing kind of continues going at all, it's going to make too much power for what we're trying to do. Alright, plug looks good. I'm going to try it again. And this thing sounds like it's making 1,000 horsepower. It's kind of wild. Alright, power didn't go up too much, so that's good. The fueling numbers are just getting really wild the higher I go with RPM. I'm going to see if there's a way I can throw a fuel pressure sensor on this real quick. I didn't even see it. The regulator's tucked back there. Luckily it already has a fuel pressure sensor on it. But turn the lights off, maybe you can see better. Here where our cursor's at, we're at 50 pounds of fuel pressure. 57. Fuel pressure continuously goes down, closed loop continuously goes up, and then at the end at 5,400 RPM you only have 8 pounds of fuel pressure. Just looked at the vacuum lines and such, and everything looks okay, so I'm going to see what we have for fuel pump in there and see what we can do, and then I'm going to check and make sure that this sensor is scaled properly too. So I wasn't told that sensor was there to set up, but it was scaled wrong, so the value is a little bit wrong, but either way it's dropping like crazy. And if you follow this blue line, you can, or I'm sorry, purple line, you can see it just drops. And so fuel pressure is dropping all the way to 13 pounds, even though we're starting at 43 pounds or so. So it's like the exact opposite of a rising rate regulator. So not sure what's going on with that. The vacuum lines all look good, but something weird's going on. So this fuel pressure is just dropping as if it like never rises, so it seems more like it's a regulator problem than a pump problem. Alright, had a chance to talk to Brian, explain to him what's going on. Not often that I get to tell him that I was actually worried that I think it's going to make too much power. Given that this thing just got a stock block in it, they break pretty easy, and it's showing that it wants to make more than what usually works on these. So that was interesting, but I guess he's had some fuel system problems in the past, and next on his to-do list was actually to do like a full upgrade on the fuel system. So it looks like it's just going to be time to do it sooner than expected. So that's going to do it for this video, and I guess keep an eye out for round 3 on this car.